What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So as y'all can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we got us a new project on the channel. I'm super excited to work on this thing, and hopefully you guys are too. But here it is right here, you guys. It's a Tao Tao 125 four-wheeler. And they call this thing a kid's four-wheeler, but it's surprisingly a pretty decent size. Like, I'm 5'6", 135 pounds, and I can fit on this thing no problem. And I'm hoping that it'll start up and run so we can give it a little test ride and rip it around the backyard. But as you guys can see, I had to wash it up. The tires were peed on by my dog because I had it sitting in the backyard. He decided he wanted to mark all 4 of them. So, but anyway, guys, our main objective for today is to get these levers up here changed out and get that main wiring harness changed out so we can see if this four-wheeler will actually run or not, because I don't even know if it starts and runs. I bought it for $100, really good deal. So I didn't care whether it actually ran or not because it was super cheap. And if I need to, I can swap out a little bigger engine maybe to make it more fun. We'll see in the future. But for now, we're going to change out that wiring harness and those controls right there. I got some brand new parts over there on my shelf that looks like a mess right now. I'm still trying to figure out how to organize that thing. But yeah, guys, I'm going to throw you on the tripod. We'll start changing some stuff out. See if we can rip this thing around the backyard today. It might be hard to tell on the camera, but the motor's sitting in there kind of crooked. And as you can see right here, it's not put into its normal mounting tab right there. So I'm going to have to move that up and unfasten it down on the bottom side where it is so we can swing it up there and then refasten it all nice and straight. And then once that's done, we can put the chain on. Alright guys, so I think it's best if we just go ahead and start off by replacing the levers, because that's the first part of the system and it's where everything starts at and it works on from there. So we get these swapped out and move on to that wiring harness. Alright, now we can put on our new lever. How do we take this thing off of here? Looks like this Allen screw right here. And that might be the only one that holds it on. This stuff has definitely been on here and weathered for a while. These screws are pretty stuck. Not a big deal though, we're getting it done. There we go. Alright, I got these all hooked up and I'm not 100% sure that it's right because it's really tight to squeeze this lever. Like, it almost doesn't go back enough. But I'm going to try it out that way when the four-wheeler hopefully starts. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to getting this throttle cable hooked up. After that, we'll go ahead and get that wiring harness swapped out and see what happens. Just like that, we are one step closer. Alright guys, it's time for us to start swapping out this main wiring harness. I'm gonna go ahead and start back here in the back where I know things are kind of obvious, which I believe this guy here plugs, no, let's see, what is it? I think this one here plugs into that. I don't know what these are. They might be for the brakes, I'm not sure. We'll figure it out here pretty soon. These two wiring harnesses aren't like 100% alike. Like these little guys right here, they're just supposed to like pin into something. They're actually supposed to be in this plug-in down here that I'm about to unplug and show you guys. See, they're supposed to be inside this plug-in, so I'm gonna have to cut these off and get them into there, or just splice them straight into this plug-in here, which is fine. But I gotta have to get it done one way or another. I think I'm just gonna cut them off of here and splice them onto that wiring. I can do that just pretty easy. It just kind of sucks that is what it is. I thought these wiring harnesses were universal, like this. I thought they were like the same exact one for each different Chinese four-wheeler, because all these four-wheelers are basically the same. But apparently they are just a little bit different in some cases. But from what I can see, everything else appears to be about the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep changing stuff out. Alrighty guys, I think I got the wiring situation all figured out, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this solenoid all unhooked so we can get the new wiring onto it. I'm not going to tighten this stuff down all the way yet because I'm not exactly sure where it's going to run. I don't know where the factory spot is for it. So until I figure that out, I'm just going to have to keep these loose and keep it in the back of my mind that I got to go back and check everything, make sure it's all tight before we start this thing up, or at least attempt to start it up. Like I said, I don't know if it runs for sure or not. You guys are gonna find out for the first time with me. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just mount the battery right here on the back for now. I'm not even really gonna mount it. I'm just gonna set it here because all we're doing is trying to see if this thing will start. And this battery, I think this is one of those cheaper Amazon batteries, and It's definitely not in the greatest shape, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it anyway and see if it works, guys. Battery's all hooked up. Time to see if this thing's gonna start, but I bet you that battery's dead, so I'm gonna have to put a jumper box on it. Okay guys, battery charger's on it. See if it does anything. It doesn't do anything. Well guys, I forgot to record it, but the wiring harness that I hooked up to the four-wheeler did not want to put any power to the starter and make it turn over. So I went in and I watched YouTube and I learned how to hot wire this thing. Hot wired it all, and I wired it up to one of these little starter switches. And what I did was I had my head down by the starter trying to hear for it clicking, and it was clicking every time I would hit the button. Not this one, but another one, just like this one. So I would hit the button and I could hear it click, but it wouldn't turn the engine over. So I did that about 4 or 5 times, and then all of a sudden the clicker button got stuck down, and this switch, the one that I had to throw away, it started smoking in my hand. So I quickly unhooked the battery, got this thing off the bike and out of the garage, because it was filling this garage up with smoke pretty quickly. And this is just a one-car garage. And for anybody that has experienced a wiring harness fire, you know that it smokes pretty fast and pretty heavy. It stinks really bad. So I got it off the bike real quick, got it out of here, didn't get anything burned up. And so now I gotta unhook all that from being hot wired, because it was just to try to test to see if the engine was gonna run. And obviously it didn't start up, but it did try to click that starter over. So I don't know if maybe the starter is just locked up or what, but I know the engine's not locked up, because I can pick the back tires up off the ground with this thing in gear and spin them over hard enough by hand, and I can actually feel the piston going, you know, like you can feel the motor turn over. You can feel it's got good compression and whatnot. So here we are a couple days later, and I went on Amazon and bought this little kit right here. It comes with everything I need to rewire this whole four-wheeler. Hopefully after I install everything in this box, that bad boy right there will run. And if it does run, I'm not gonna take it for a test ride yet, because as you guys can maybe make out in the video here, the motor is sitting a little cockeyed in the frame right now, so I need to get that addressed and get it sitting straight so it doesn't like throw anything out of whack possibly. I mean, it rolls back and forth really nice and easily in neutral here, but I still want to get that thing sitting straight before I go try to test ride it. Plus I need to check out the front brakes. I don't know how to adjust these things very good yet, and they feel really tight. So I think maybe I'm gonna have to try to do some kind of adjusting down here in the wheels. Maybe I'll just need to lubricate them, because this four-wheeler has been sitting for a long time. But I'm gonna go ahead and get you guys on the tripod and do a little time lapse. Get this thing all wired back up with all new stuff, because it comes with this new, it comes with everything new. See, it comes with all this stuff. The complete electronics, the stator, coil, CDI, and the whole wiring harness. So I'm gonna get that thrown on there, and we'll see if this thing runs, guys. I know the starter tried clicking over when I hot wired it, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna start. It may have burned up that switch for a reason, and it just might burn up something inside that box there once we get it installed on here. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw it all on there and see what happens. All right, hopefully that's gonna work. Fingers crossed, guys, hopefully this works. It's off, it's on. Gonna turn the ignition on. Okay, I think that was off. I think the ignition's on now. We're gonna see what happens. I don't think anything's happening, you guys. Nothing. Ah, I can't believe it, guys. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't act like it has any power to it at all. It's really weird. I mean, everything is brand new. Everything's hooked up good. When I hot wired it, it made the starter click, but it burnt the switch up like I was telling you guys, and now it just doesn't do anything. All these brand new parts on it, it won't do anything. All right, guys, so we're at this point now where the bike just acts like it doesn't want to do anything. It acts like there's no power to it at all. And as you guys seen, we got all new electrical system on it, the new wiring harness, everything. And it just acts like it doesn't want to do anything. Like the starter won't even click now when I hit the button. And I've got the battery charger hooked up to it because that battery's completely dead. So I got back on YouTube and I watched a video on exactly how to test this little starter. And so I went, I got me a little jumper wire, and I'm gonna hook it straight to the starter solenoid here. I believe that's what that is. I'm gonna hook it straight to the solenoid instead of the battery. And then if I come down here on the starter and pull this little wire casing back, you can see the connector in there. It's probably a little bit dark for you guys, but I can see it back in there. And the ignition is on. I got my jumper box on. as you guys can see, there's nothing wrong with the motor. It'll run just fine. There's nothing wrong with the starter. It'll probably run just fine if I had fuel to it. But the problem is, I want it to be able to do its thing properly with this whole wiring harness, and I don't know how to make that happen because I'm not familiar enough with all this stuff. I'm probably going to just go back to hot wiring this thing. Not really like hot wiring it, but basically just a really simplified version to make it run on a different switch, a different kill switch maybe. I might be able to utilize this one, but it's pretty cheap. It might end up burning up again. I don't want that to happen. But I think that's what's going to happen, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and strip all the unnecessary wiring off of it, do the bare minimum, and we'll get this thing fired up and running in the next video. Okay, guys, so I went back to hot wiring it, and I got the battery charger hooked up there. So I'm going to throw this little kill switch on and see what happens. Ooh, it almost does it. See there? I think the battery's just way too dead, so I'm going to let that thing charge up for a while, and we'll come back and try it again. Okay, so I gave it a little bit. Let's see how fast this thing turns over now. Ooh. Okay, it might start. We're gonna turn the gas on and see what happens, guys. Man, I think it wants to run. What if I flip the choke on? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I guess it doesn't want to run. So it's turning over pretty quick, like it's got plenty of power now, guys, but what I want to do now is make sure that we're getting spark because it's turning over really well, it's just not firing. So we're going to have you guys watch the spark plug here. We're going to turn it over and see if it's sparking. And if so, then I'm going to pull the gas tank off and see why it's not getting any fuel, because that's most likely the other issue. So here we go. Oh yeah, it's definitely getting spark. So I guess that means that we're going to go ahead and pull that gas tank off and see why there's probably not any fuel going to the carburetor. Or see if the carburetor is all gummed up and maybe it's not working properly. Alright guys, so I figured it out. I took the carburetor off, got the jets all cleaned out and everything. This thing starts up. I just had it started, so hopefully it'll start again for you guys. Turned on the fuel. I'm gonna cross this little thing over here. Get it to start for you guys. Hold on a second. Oh, it almost was. It's almost running. See, it's running. It's not wanting to stay running though. I don't know what's up with that, but it's at least starting up. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, see, it doesn't want to stay running. I don't know what the deal is with that, but at least we got it running. We know it runs, so it's awesome, you guys. I think it has bad gas in it, honestly. The gas looks really dark yellow and dirty, so it's probably pretty old. I'm going to get it switched out and maybe it'll run a lot better. But for now, that's probably going to be it. So that's really awesome, you guys. I'm so happy I figured that out. I'm glad the motor actually runs. From here, like I said, I think it just needs, oh my goodness. So like I said, I think it just needs some better gas in it. It looks pretty old. It smells really old. So I'm going to swap out the gas for some new stuff. Probably check that spark plug now that it's smoked like that with that bad gas in it. Or make sure that it's not fouled or anything just yet. Probably shouldn't be because it hasn't ran very long. But as you guys seen, it fires up and runs. It was cutting out with the throttle, so that probably means that the fuel is really dirty since I already cleaned up the carburetor. Because usually if it cuts out with the throttle like that, then that means your carburetor is really dirty. But I bet you that it's just the gas that's bad. So we'll get that swapped out and check it out in the next video, guys. This is going to be so awesome, you guys. We're going to build us a nice little rip around four-wheeler. Hopefully it'll snow good this winter and we can take it out and have some fun in it. But as for now, that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for stopping in. If you enjoyed today's content, smash that like button. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Just like that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.